Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to the non-Greg Sterlace Show, except only the substitutes. I'm your host, the Pams.
Hi, Pam. As you can see, we have a wonderful little furry guest. He is right.
I don't know if people can see the furry guest.
Well,
He's in the first shot.
Look, he sat
In the
down.
white shot? Is he in the white
Oh,
shot?
look, he stopped moving around.
yes.
There he is. Oh, right there. Everybody point. Right there's the puppy.
He is a wonderful
Everybody point
guest.
at the
Hello.
Which Ottoman is the real Ottoman?
Say hello, Mae.
Hi, I'm here too.
You know, it's funny. Every time you said that, I kept thinking. My mind immediately, whenever anyone says Ottoman, they say mean furniture. I think they mean like Ottoman
Empire?
Turk and Ottoman Empire. I'm like, where?
That's what I think too.
Yeah. Because that's what Andy's last name means. Ottoman.
It means-
Ottoman.
He's an Ottoman?
I do believe that's where he told me the name came from.
I think it means he goes really fast on German highways. Autobahn.
Bon.
Great. Yes.
Okay.
I will go very fast.
Or he's actually an Ottoman, and you should put your feet up on him when you're tired. Right, that's what Ottoman is, or do you sit on an Ottoman?
No, this is an ottoman.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You can
So
have a
just like a
storage
tiny-
ottoman that you can put things inside.
Oh, maybe you store things in him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like drugs.
No, like your heart, like his lungs. He can store his lungs and all the same things
that's
I
a
store.
mule, yeah.
Actually,
Sorry.
So Ottomans are just tiny little like
footstools.
fabric squares attached to wood.
Yeah.
They can
Pretty
also
much.
be round or
They can be
rectangular.
round or rectangular, or
Huh.
Yeah.
you can have them shaped like
sit
weird
on them.
things.
It looks like a very large candy to me.
Well.
Like you remove it and there's just a wonderful little chocolate inside goodness, and there's some cream inside.
I couldn't have a chocolate or a candy that large anywhere near me, because if I got it unwrapped, I'd be like, well, gotta finish it now.
Right.
This is how I die.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh
Well,
no,
nice knowing you guys. I got an Ottoman.
your last name means
We
Blake
know she
or
died.
of the lake or something. I mean, or it's Blake and it means black or of the lake, right?
I
Something- think
don't
looked it
know.
up.
I thought it meant. I have no idea what I thought it meant. I never thought about it.
We can throw fish and stuff into you.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I mean, I like fish.
We can have some sailboats.
That just makes
Oh
me
my
think of the
God.
fish slapping.
Oh, yeah,
Sounds
fish
good.
slapping.
What's your last name mean?
The old one I know. The new one I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I know hers.
Okay.
Yeah, my Holdridge is because my Scottish ancestors way back were involved in some sort of dispute, and they lived on the ridge, and they held the ridge for their side, and there's
Oh.
the Holdridges. Yep.
Oh.
My old last
Yeah,
name
it's
meant
really-
grove of beech trees.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like
Now it's
peaches.
apples.
I like
Now it's some sort of now it's
Keeping
Macintosh and
keeping the
I don't know.
trees. You just like
I don't know if
trees.
Macintosh means apples.
No, it doesn't.
But those are my favorite brand of apples, by the way. They're
That's my
delightful.
favorite kind
I
of apples
just
too.
bought
I
a
love
big bag
those.
of
So good.
Macintosh apples.
We
Oh, they're
had
so good. They make good pies too.
That's
Despite
why
when
I bought
anyone
them.
says they make great pies, don't believe the hype.
Yeah.
just changing
That's what I bought them for.
What's the worst apples? I know the answer.
Red Delicious.
Red Delicious.
Red Delicious.
Why do they still
They're
make
the worst.
They're so bad.
They're so bad.
If you get one in its peak ripeness, which is for I think about 3 hours, they're good.
Okay.
I like them if they start kind of going a little bad and they get a little mealy.
You're wrong.
That
You're super wrong.
everyone ever told
You
me.
would always have like things of apples for the students
Yes.
in there, and you'd be like, "I'm not gonna eat them. They're weird, mealy." I mean, like that's not really how you presented it. But usually, by the time I got to them, realized they were there, and they
okay.
were like gross.
Well,
Yeah.
they'd be there for a while before they'd all get eaten, and I'd have to buy more.
Yeah.
So the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I'd grab one and
Yes.
be like,
I never bought Red Delicious though.
"No, they're terrible."
They are the worst
No.
apple.
That's what
I really like
my
Granny
mom
Smith.
bought Red Delicious all of
I
our
like Granny Smith
childhood, and
too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you buy these? She's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, because it's the apples we buy. I'm like,
'Cause they're
you
so
should think about
delicious.
things more.
They're
And
like
then-
the photogenic,
they're very
but
nice,
shallow.
looking
They're
apples.
very shallow. They're
They're like-
They're the
photogenic.
pop
They're-
star of
They're
apple.
like
Yeah,
the
they're-
plastic food they use to take pictures and put on menus at fast food restaurants.
I used to
But what
petition
about
for the Golden Delicious because they at least have
pineapples?
some flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Granny Smith as well.
Yeah. I think my favorites are probably the Honeycrisp, but they're so damn expensive because they were
So
created in the
expensive.
60s, so they're like copyrighted.
Yeah.
I
weird.
tasted those and I was just like,
I mean, they're not my favorite, but they're good. Like if you get them when they're like.
I like Cortland's. They're very
Also,
close to Macintosh.
Also, they hold up well to like the Honeycrisps don't like bruise as easily. So they're good for packing on
Long
a
storage.
trip or something. Anyways.
It's a very apple-themed episode.
Yeah.
I like apples.
Yeah,
I ate
too.
a really good apple the other day. It was really good. I don't know what it was. I found it in the back of the fridge. I'm like, where'd you come from? And I cut it. I was like, oh, it's still crunchy. I'm
It was
gonna
a
eat
magic apple.
There is a watermelon in our fridge, which I forgot about, and I'm pretty sure it's kombucha on the inside.
it. This is the third
watermelon kombucha is my
watermelon that you
favorite
have forgotten
kombucha.
about.
I'm so
I love
great.
watermelon. Here's
I
a watermelon,
love
sweetheart.
watermelon.
I bought you a watermelon because you love watermelons.
Stop,
and
you're
you-
making me feel really bad. I love watermelon.
I want one
Do
of those
you?
little
Yes, I do. I just
Japanese
Science
square
point to know.
watermelons. I know they're just regular watermelons, but they look so pretty.
And also,
Don't they just put them in
some
something to make them grow
grocery
that way?
store watermelons
Yeah,
are
they
very
do,
good.
but-
Oh, okay.
The last two
they're
I
just so
got were from the
pretty.
market.
They're
Yeah,
so
they're-
stackable and
yeah,
easy to
so
organize.
Sad.
You could use
The
them as a
nice
table.
people next to
You
ours.
can,
Well, I'm gonna have to cut the one open in the fridge and see if it's not.
can
just
use them
gross.
as
It
a
might still be good.
I mean, it's
table.
been in there for like a
I
month.
don't know. A very tiny, very pointless table. Oh, sorry. I
Having
was
our
talking
own
about square
conversation over here.
watermelons.
Square watermelons.
Oh, square watermelons. Yeah.
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 They grow them
For
so that
easy
they
storage in the
fit
fridge.
Japanese fridges better or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Throw them in a box.
That is a problem though, because they will just like roll and like spit watermelon juice everywhere, and you're like, no, you bastard.
Yeah.
I used to-
I want to grow pears inside shapes that look like the woman of Willendorf kind of things.
Oh.
So they're just like weird little prehistoric naked ladies.
That would be fun.
The pears that grow up my parents kind of look like that anyway.
Yeah,
They're
I
very
know.
knobbly. Is that where you got the idea?
Kinda, yeah.
They're like canning pears. They're super, super hard.
Oh,
I want to
Yeah.
try
Yeah,
one.
they're like.
you want to try one?
Yeah, I want to try a pear. I don't know. I just love pears. I think are the best.
Agreed. I
Forrest
love
John
pears.
wants to
Love
try a
'em.
pear shaped like a naked lady.
Well, I mean, well, okay, I guess, but
That's what I was saying.
I don't even like eating bunnies. I don't know
Pear
how I feel
naked
about.
ladies.
Pair Naked Ladies is a new band. No!
Pair them with what?
Look at this dog.
Dog.
The dog loves the spotlight.
He does. His head's not in the shot.
No, he's just a body.
Now
But
he
that's-
actually looks like an Ottoman, though.
Yeah, he does.
Instead of an
And his
Ottoman
name
with a head.
is
Parker.
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 I don't know what a Parker is.
Hi. Look at you.
What's your last name mean? I know what it means. I figured it out.
I know what it
means. You
means.
have the power to fight Darth Helmet.
I don't know who that is.
That's the guy from.
Oh,
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Yes, it does. Yes, I can. Yes. It means black as well.
Oh.
And my first name means honey, so I'm Honey Black.
Just saying.
It's a very porn-sounding name.
Sure is. I think you should just start a band called that.
Yeah.
Well, I used to have a band called Victory Light Black Honey. Yeah, a while ago. And the other person's last name was Lazar, which actually means leper, but I thought that wasn't Victory Leper isn't so great. So.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're playing
I
like death metal.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
pretended it was
Victory
laser, like
Leper.
light. So yeah, I was like Victory Light, buddy. Not Victory Leopard. No. Yeah. Well, yeah, if we were a metal band, maybe.
For real. Respect. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
But yes.
There are too many good band names in the world, considering there aren't enough bands to all have them.
My metal band is called Metallic Diaper. Highly recommend them if you ever look them up.
Metallic Diaper.
Yeah, it's.
I've been trying to sell someone on Scream of the Marmot or Cry of the Marmot because I saw it in a documentary once. And marmots are like, like gophers and prairie dogs and stuff.
Do they
But
scream?
yeah, it was they like the Cry of the Marmot was in the phrase in the documentary I watched when I was like 16, and I'm like, that'd be a cool metal name, like band name,
Someone pick it.
metal band name. Yeah.
I think Foil
Tried to
Hat
sell.
is a great metal name.
The cool thing
That's
about
just a good
Metallic
name in
Diaper
general.
is all of the albums were only available on hockey rink discs and also mini CDs, which I also enjoyed. I don't know. I always liked when he put out things on those little tiny CDs. You ever see those little hockey rink discs? They're sort of like mini CDs, but they're cut into the shape of like like a D almost.
No.
Never heard of that. No.
Oh, you should look them up. They're really cool. That's what.
How do they work?
Did you play them
It's
in
like
like
a
a
regular
regular?
CD.
Oh, okay.
They're just shaped different.
Oh, have you seen the ones
think
that are
they
shaped
would
like
spin
business
weird?
cards?
No.
Yeah.
I always thought the Art Bells would be a great band name.
The
too.
Art Bells.
Yeah, the Art Bells, because
Oh, it's
the TV show, and I don't know, it's fun. Fun name, but probably maybe it's too well known.
I think Atomic Lasagna would be a good name too.
I thought about making lasagna tonight. I did, but I didn't have time because
Snow.
Batavia was an ice cube, and
Not
my
looking
little
forward to
car
driving across.
was an ice cube. And then, oh man, the scariest thing, like, I got the ice off and enough and freed the wipers, and they wiped once and they weren't wiping again. I was like, oh my god, I broke my wipers. And then they came back to life, so I was like, oh, thank God.
I remember one time I was leaving class when I first went to college, and I was leaving we were playing probably
StarCraft?
StarCraft, yeah, probably playing StarCraft. And I was leaving, and my car, there'd been an ice storm, and my car was frozen to the parking lot.
Oh, is that
Oh,
when they
no.
threw you out, right?
Yeah.
That time they threw. Oh, I was
Yeah.
trying to hide my students in my Mac
Right.
lab so they didn't
'Cause-
throw them out into this horrible, wretched, deadly ice storm.
It was
And
terrible.
then the fucking security found you all. I was
Yeah.
like, get out. And then they're like, you Pam Swords can't leave because we plowed your car into a hunk of ice.
What?
They plowed all the snow and ice up against my car to get other people out. So
Oh,
it was
no.
like,
Well, yeah, because I had gone out
There's
to my
a block
car
of ice.
before, and it was frozen to the ground. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think I can leave. And then
Yeah.
and then they kicked me out, and it was like really frozen to the ground. And
How
I
did
had
you
to like,
get out?
I don't remember how I got the ice off the door enough to open it, but I remember chiseling at the windshield with the ice scraper, and then the ice scraper broke, and I had a window hole like this big. And then I got in my car, and it was manual, and I like pushed the clutch in, put it in first gear, and kind of slowly let out, and it just like a couple of times till I finally get it to the wheels were covered in ice, and it finally breaks free, and I'm like sliding through the lot, and I get out onto the road, and I'm like looking, I'm looking through this little hole, but I can't see enough, so I rolled down the window and I punched the ice out,
jeez.
and then I'm like leaning out the window like a dog, like driving home like this.
I remember like Larry left
Yeah.
and he was like a mile away, and half an hour later he calls us like, I'm finally home. We're like, oh, nobody leave, nobody leave, nobody
Yeah.
leave.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was
We
like
were gonna
leaning
have
out
a
the
party
window
and
like
watch Mighty Boosh all night.
Yeah. I was like leaning out the window like a dog, and the window finally, all the ice sloughed off of it right about when I got into Warsaw.
Yeah, I made
That's how
the,
it goes.
the different multi-holes and then turned the heat up all the way and was sweating to death, like waiting for the ice to melt. Actually, my car did this crazy, scary thing. Like the ice, when it comes off the top, it made like this super loud noise. It was like, ka-chunk! It sounded like the roof was being ripped off. A couple different times, it scared the crap out of me.
So scary.
Like my old car, Goldie, it would come off and it would come flying forward.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it would fly backward and hit the person behind me, which is really funny.
I've always
They go,
wanted
"You
one
son of
of those.
I just see it all go whoop. It was hilarious.
It was so scary driving home that night. And it was a rear wheel drive 1986 Volvo 240, so, you know, it's like steering an ice covered boat down the road.
I've always
Whoa.
wanted a Yugo, but I don't think there's any of those
Left?
No, you'd have an easier time finding Volvo 240.
I just like how they look, and they're just such
The
a funny
Yugos are
concept.
cool, yeah. Don't get a Pinto though.
What's a Pinto?
Explosive.
Explosive is what they are.
What?
They
I
put
don't
the
get it.
gas tank behind the rear fender, so if someone rear-ended you,
Oh,
your car exploded. My parents both had Pintos when they met each other, so they both
Yeah.
could have died fiery deaths, and they didn't. They met each
If
other
there-
and made me. So you
If
know,
there are
and my sister.
multiple universes, like
Right.
Yeah.
there's a bunch of them where one
where
or
we just
both
don't
of you-
exist. Yeah. Yeah, my mom had a red one and my dad had a blue one.
Yeah.
And my dad's one had a wooden fender. 'Cause
Wooden bumper.
Or bumper, yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they called
Oh.
Pintos? That just makes me think of beans.
Me too.
They were little.
I think you're supposed to think of the horse, though. Like a Pinto
yeah.
horse, right?
Oh.
Maybe?
Mm-hmm.
That's a horse
I like
coloring.
beans more than horses. At least beans
What did
are way
horses do
tastier.
to you?
I think what happened was they
They're hiding their unicorn horns. They're lying to us all.
Are
So-
you eating horses?
This is
Well, my grandmother eats horse meat. I think it's gross.
this is my theory about how the Pinto got its name. It was one of those meetings like Mad Men style meetings where they're all like,
Oh.
drinking somewhere, and they're like coming up with names for it. And one guy's got IBS or something, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'll have a pint." Oh, and that was
Pinto!
Pinto! And then like he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom," and then they're like, "I like that name." Pinto.
Pinto.
We don't have to tell anybody it was because Bob tried to say he wanted a pint and then crapped his pants.
Gremlins are cool.
Gremlins, yeah. Oh, Gremlins are so cool.
They're so
Can't
cool.
see all
So
of them
cool.
After midnight, though.
There was a pink one in front of the bowling alley, Kenmore Lanes. Oh, it was pink with white stripes. It was so beautiful.
Oh, Gremlins are so pretty.
They are pretty, yeah. I was
pretty.
like,
That's
oh
what you
my
guys talking
gosh, a
about.
pink
They're a
gremlin.
car. They're a hatchback, but they're
I'll show you.
they're kind of like a muscly hatchback almost.
I just want
Like
either,
by modern standards. Back when they were made, they were probably just.
I just want either a
hatchback
Yugo or the
shaped.
Mach 5.
But-
Just give me the Mach 5. Just give me a monkey to live in my car.
I don't think you could handle the Mach 5, John.
I don't think I could either. But I just want a car that a monkey can live in with a tiny child.
Sounds
Oh,
weird.
Wonderfully 80s looking.
They're from the 70s,
Oh, they're
actually.
from the 70s.
Yeah. I think
Aren't they delightful?
they're so delightful.
I've never seen anything like that.
It's like a
It looks
stretch.
like Archie would drive
There's
it.
like a weird X-ray in this picture, and like, this is anatomy of a gremlin.
By the way, the
It's as
best
if
Archie character
The
is
humans are
Jughead.
the gremlin bones, with the dog
Such a
being the rear
cool
end.
car. It's like somebody was like, "Hey, you know what we should do? Make an economy car. We'll call it a hatchback, but we're just gonna use a land jot and then chop the back off."
Right?
You know? Why does your hatchback have a 6-cylinder?
Of course.
I don't know.
I'm a big fan of the original Scion XB.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
How can I not be?
Our friend Susan just got rid of hers.
She had a Scion XB, the original. Why'd she get rid of it? Probably lots of miles, right?
Lots of miles, and she had a ton of parking tickets or something on it, and then it
So
also
she
needed
couldn't renew her
repairs.
registration
So she
on
couldn't
it
renew her
'cause she owed
registration,
all
and
this
it
money.
required a bunch of parts too.
What kind of car
Oh,
would
crap.
Yeah.
How much does she sell it for?
I don't know. I think she exchanged that and her other. She had a
Oh,
van
for something else,
For
okay.
another. It's a Scion.
It's another Scion XB, but it's the modern,
The
bubble
new
The
one.
modern
newer
one,
one.
which
The
is
one that
not
look-
as good.
No, it's not as good. If you're gonna get a newer Scion XB, just skip it entirely and get a Nissan Cube. They're asymmetrical and way more reliable. And weird looking.
I think
She
that
likes
the
her
Scion
new
XBs
Scion.
are pretty reliable.
Well, yeah, but the newer ones aren't
they
as
don't
good,
have as
yeah.
good as gas mileage as the Cube, but you need to get
No.
a Cube without the CVT from the first couple years it had a CVT.
Oh yeah, because it didn't.
wasn't
Yeah,
reliable,
the transmission was really unreliable. But
God, I'm
yeah.
a car geek. Shh, don't tell. I did tons of research because I was going to buy one of those. And I found one from the bad time period, but it was a stick shift. So I'm like, stick shift, no problem.
That's
you know.
that's what happened to me with Volkswagen Cabriolet. Is I did a bunch of research, but I didn't do quite enough, and I got one from like the last year they made it, and that also happened to be in 1993 when they changed emission standards, so they had to like cobble things together to make
Oh,
it fit
yeah.
stand,
Uh-huh.
and so you couldn't get a bunch of those parts, so you'd have to just like buy parts for something older and go, I guess I gotta drill some holes in this and make it fit. Yeah.
Well, my Saturn, which was a 95, had a 96 engine in it, so that was drilling some holes.
I had a
Make that engine fit.
I had a Volkswagen bus that had the VIN number from a Beetle.
Oops.
I hate working a car so much. I had to do it, but I hate it so much. It's always in the middle of winter, and you're outside, and it's cold, and there's oil leaking on your face, and it's just,
That's why you work on them in the summer. You go, this is a problem. I should do it now.
I mean,
But what if it happens in the winter?
that's
Then
what
you're
seems to
then you're
happen.
screwed, and then you
Sucks.
have to
Find
have
someone with
those
a garage.
You have to have those big Carhartt coveralls. Then you're under there. But yeah, I've definitely had a mouthful of like gross 40-year-old transmission fluid before accidentally.
Ugh.
It's like I put the pan underneath the Volkswagen and I was draining and doing the transmission, and I put it like, but there was no good way to get to the, you know, like the bolt that plugged it up, and when I finally got it, I was close enough to the pan that it splashed out and all over my face, like it flashed.
Was that
out
the
of the oil.
grossest thing you've had in your mouth?
I plead the fifth.
I mean, that sounds pretty gross to me.
Yeah, it
in
was pretty
relation to
gross.
other
Yeah, it
things,
was,
you know.
and it had metal shavings in it, so it was like, yeah.
I'll tell you what the grossest thing I've had in my mouth is. Cow afterbirth.
Oh.
How?
Because I was helping this cow deliver a calf, and it came out, and it kicked me right in the mouth, but it was still in the sack.
Ooh.
So it was like mouthful of like cow sack in afterbirth.
That might be the grossest thing I've ever heard.
That's close to it.
Really?
That's what could be worse than that?
My
yeah,
chemistry
there's a puke
teacher.
done.
It's actually
Shit
pretty
on.
safe. Cow afterbirth's pretty safe, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just
I don't want
idea
a
of it.
cow that's being born still in the sack hoofing me in the mouth with weird cow uterus slime.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
I'd rather get
Not
puked
good.
on and
See,
shat
I'm
on by, like,
thinking that I think the oil is less gross because sure, it's 40 years old and it's
way
like,
more dangerous, though.
It's way more dangerous, but it's less gross.
My chemistry teacher told us a story about how he worked on a farm when he was a teenager, and the pipes froze and burst and flooded the cow barn, and so he had to like scoop up all of this like liquid manure, and he was putting it into the manure spreader, and the like little ramp thing was getting slipperier and slipperier because it was still freezing outside, and he fell into the manure spreader, which was mostly full of liquid slushy icy manure, full all the way over his head, and he's a tall man, and totally he's like, it was in everywhere. He's like, and then he was working alone, and he got
that can be
out of
dangerous,
it,
yeah.
ripped all of his clothes off, hosing himself off, and the people that own the farm got home. He's like in his skivvies in below freezing temperatures, hosing himself off. He's like, I smelled manure for like weeks. It was
We used to
gross,
play
so.
this King of the Mountain game, and we had this one area where the cow poop was like, you know, like this maybe 3 feet deep. And my cousin jumped off the mountain, and the cow poop layer had a crust on top, so it looked solid. It broke, and she went into it, and she was like screaming, and she couldn't get out. The suction was kicking her back in. And we had to pull her out. And then we were the same thing, hosing her off, and my grandmother came up. She was like, what did you kids do? And she's like yelling at us, and we're being like super somber. And my grandmother like threw her in the car and took her home. And me and my sisters looked at each other, and then we like fell on the floor laughing. We couldn't laugh up until then. We were just like, wow, that's the fucking funniest thing I ever saw. She was just like, ah, ah. She couldn't like even speak English. Yeah,
Traumatizing.
it was
I bet
totally
she tells that story
traumatizing.
differently.
I mean, but we'd all fallen in it before, so to us it wasn't that big a deal. But she wasn't a farm kid, you know. So
There was this creek next to where I grew up, and like there's a gorge too, and you just hike up it. But also we'd like hang out there and catch crayfish and stuff, and we walk down it this way. And sometimes we wouldn't want to walk too far, and we'd want to cut across this like plot of land between it and the road to walk home. But it was like inconsistently really muddy, and we just never really learned, and probably lost at least a couple pairs of shoes in there each, where that like you'd put your foot in and it'd go up to like your knee, and you'd be like, no, and you'd pull your foot up and you'd hear and then you'd be like, my shoe, and it'd be like
yeah,
like
I
around your shoe.
lost a sandal that way. I had these Tevas, and I swim around in the pond, and somebody batted a ball into like the reeds, and I was walking, and all of a sudden, I actually felt like the pole, like the quicksand pole. I couldn't believe it, like, and I panicked because you know, you always think quicksand is danger, danger, quicksand. You're going to get pulled right in and die.
It's so quick.
It's so quick, quicksand. And I yanked my foot out, and then my shoe didn't come with it. And I tried to dig through the goop, but eggs
Many a time
weird
with
creature
mud and,
eggs were,
water.
flying
We
up. I was
definitely
like,
tried
no,
to
no.
change.
Many a time that's happened to me. It's very unpleasant.
We've
You
definitely.
lost a shoe?
In many a muddy creek and riverbank, yes, and I've also got a leech on me once, which wasn't fun.
Oh, I have a great
I've
leech
never got a
story.
leech.
Can
I
you
have
tell
a
that on
really.
TV?
Can I tell this on TV? Yes, I think I can. I'll just censor myself. So,
I'll beep you.
when I was, and then it was when I was
Ready.
learning to drive too. So I was like,
16.
I had my learner's permit, so early 16, and we were at this pond out by where my parents are. That's and you can kayak and canoe on it and stuff, but it's like a nature conservation thing. And we were out there in the kayak, and it was such a hot day. It was so nice, so I decided to get in the water, and I was just kind of hanging on the boat, and it was nice and cool. And we get back to the car. And my dad's like, make sure you check for leeches or something. I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Nothing here, nothing here. And then I'm jokingly swim trunks. I'm like, and we didn't have salt or anything or a lighter. And I'm like, I sprayed a can of WD-40 down the
Did it
swim
work?
trunks. Well,
Did the leech slide off?
it was
Did he
not
stop
there.
squeaking?
It was not there when we got home.
And your dad is
But my dad is kind of...
a sociopath.
No,
No, he's not a sociopath.
But he finds humor in things, so he made me drive home with this leech still there.
what?
And it's probably the safest and most cautious I have ever driven in my entire life.
Did you want to die with a leech on your
Yeah.
boop, boop?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was...
We go fishing a lot, and my dad always used the leeches for bait, and I hated it so much.
But, yeah, losing shoes. Definitely tried to dig for the shoes a couple times, but it's one of those things where either the dirt's gross or it's just futile. You're never getting that shoe.
Or eggs from things start floating up. You're like, okay, that's that. Done. Yeah. Yeah, You're like,
Well,
no,
we didn't have that problem
because
because it was mostly clay, so it was
okay.
things weren't living in it really.
yeah.
But it was.
Skippers, though, that live there. I always thought they were cute.
Which ones are the mud skippers?
Those little brown things that just sort of live in
Go on
a
the-
super muddy, they sort of in between.
I
I'll
think
show
I've
you
seen
the skipper.
those. Okay.
Beth knows the creek I'm talking about, and we hiked up it once in
That's
the
the one I
summer.
fell down.
Yeah. We're like when we were first, when we were relatively early on when we were dating, we took Robbie and Jill with us, they're both blue. One was a blue healer, and the younger one, I climbed. There's this waterfall you can actually climb up the side of if you're careful where there's no water running. And I climbed up it, and he followed after me.
Yeah,
and
he jumped up and
he
then-
jumped up and got up to the top of it. He climbed
But
this
there was
really
it had
steep
rained,
slope.
so there was a lot of water coming because it had rained. So
But there was this really steep slope, and he actually climbed up this nearly vertical thing and got to the top of it. But then once he got to the top, he's like, I'm a big goofy dog. I went up. I can go down. And Beth is standing facing the wrong way, taking a picture on slightly slope
like
of shale.
So it was like
and then,
little
drops.
tiny steps. and
Yeah,
then it
little
dropped,
tiny
yeah.
steps, and then it dropped. And he jumps off and runs back down the waterfall and can't stop
Runs.
himself.
Falls.
Falls controlledly.
Yeah.
Down this waterfall.
Skitter.
And runs into her back legs.
Hits me in
And
the back
then-
of the knees.
Oh no.
And I was like,
And she just
Okay.
kind of stayed stable but slid down the slope and then fell.
it was one of those slow motions where I'm like, I'm still standing, but I can feel myself going towards the edge. And I was like, there's nothing I can do about this. And I fell and
But from my perspective, what I see is Robbie run down this thing, hit her, and Beth just stand there for a couple seconds and then go, bump. I'm like, what just happened? Are you okay?
it was slow motion. And then I had a giant bruise on my ass that went across the whole thing. It was awful. There's I have pictures if you ever want to see.
There
It's a
was-
big ass.
we
bruise.
went to visit you and at the college. We went to visit you, and we were walking out. And you know how they pave those sidewalks?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
raised, and they have the raised sections joining the two parking lots. Well, Beth wasn't like really looking down at that, and she was just kind of walking along, and she tripped on one of those,
The bottom of my shoe got caught.
Yeah.
I saw it, but I didn't pick my foot up high
and she
enough.
stumbled, and it was like slow motion. It was like a really cheesy pratfall, like a kid does when it wants attention, and it was like dun dun dun. Oh,
All right.
Oh.
Oh,
Hold
wait.
this
Oh,
number.
dear. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Respect. Give us a call. Let us know.
Tell us how
Peace.
good or bad we are at the show. Doesn't matter. We're not going to listen anyways.
We'll have a dog.